Students, today I will discuss a current Indian economic issue, that is low growth rate during the financial year 2025 and 24. As you know, priorly our central government as well as Reserve Bank of India predicted that the GDP growth rate will be more than 7% during this financial year. But latest data is given by Central Statistical Organization on 8th of January as well as 9th of January 2025. You will see the growth rate both were means central government as well as RBI are predicting it will be 6.5% and 6.4%. When Central Statistical Organization began to analyze the factor responsible for this low growth rate, they clarified that there are the multiple factors, and if you like to understand these factors in broad sense, that is low aggregate demand as well as low aggregate supply. What is the meaning of aggregate demand? You can go through my previous lectures for the understand. That is the technical point regarding of GS economy. It belongs to actually theoretical aspect of Indian economics. Then Central Statistical Organization says that the low growth rate because of low consumption demand due to tough monetary policies, tough fiscal reforms, because government decided to check and balance the increasing price. As you know, the food articles price are increasing very fastly. The inflation rate was more than 6 and 7% priorly. To curb this excess inflations, the monetary norms like repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, etc. were increased by the central bank, our government of India. Similarly, our tax structure is also responsible, specifically personal income tax. As you can see, in the previous budget, there is no relaxation. The consumption demand of the society due to inflation as well as high tax rate are not adequate in our economy. Supply side factor also responsible, like capital expenditure of the government of India as well as private sector capital expenditure. As you know, this financial year quarter first means 2024-25 Q1, April, May, June. Our government were engaged in elections, completely focused on elections. That is why capital expenditure reduced in our economy. In quarter second, what is the fundamental factor for low growth rate? You can understand that is also increasing price of petrol, diesel. That is responsible for high inflation. The subsidy strategy were not working at that time. That is why our economy again saw the low aggregate demand. In quarter third, capital expenditure by the private sector also reduced. As you can see, the Central Statistical Organization data, the capital expenditure by the private sector during last year it was 9% plus, but in current financial year, that is 2024-25, it is round about 6.4%. Other factor, as Central Statistical Organization identified, that is the low wage rate. Low wage rate also responsible for low consumption demands of the goods, decreasing consumption demand. So the growth rate of all different sector of the economy, it may be manufacturing, industrial sector growth rate, service sector growth rate, yet agriculture sector growth rate shows some kind of better in comparison to previous financial year, that is 2023-24, but the rest of the area are low growing sector. That is why overall growth rate predicted by the Central Statistical Organization for the current financial year 2024-25 only 6.4%. And this is the lowest growth rate during last 4 years. That is why it is very important for the preliminary point of view, they can ask the multi-dimensional questions. Why the growth rate is low? Why the Indian economy considered to be in recessionary phase? What is the steps taken by the government? Now you have to think what the government is thinking to reverse this growth rate in coming financial years. Government decided to achieve the 7% and more than 7% growth rate, and they are thinking to reverse the monetary policy, fiscal reforms, administrative reforms. Why they are and what they are, you have to understand. Only bank rate cut policy can't boost up the GDP growth rate as it is forecast by our Central Statistical Organization, and you can also understand. But the serious issue is what? To adjust in between two, high growth rate and price stability. That is the concern of the government, and multiple economists began to advise Finance Minister herself also considered, Government of India also considered, as well as the Central Statistical Organization also suggested that only monetary policy, bank rate cut policy can't reverse the growth rate. For the better growth rate, we have to consider all the fiscal reforms which is expected to be in coming budget, that is reduction or personal income tax reforms, other tax reforms, subsidy strategy, so that we can boost up the aggregate demand as well as the aggregate growth rate of our economy. For the same topic, I will discuss in coming days, in coming lecture of caste-based census, which will be helpful for you. Thank you.